You might be struggling to get yeast at the moment in the shops during lockdown, but there's actually a way you can make bread without yeast. You can use what's called a sourdough starter, and this is how bread used to be made, or rather how sourdough bread used to be made. There's actually yeast all around us in the air, and I'm going to show you how with some flour and some water you can make a sourdough starter. So the ingredients: we need 200 grams of flour. I've got strong bread flour here, and we need 200 millilitres of water. And what we do is we add the water to the flour and give it a bit of a mix. Now I'm not going to do that because I'm going to save this flour for something else. Instead, what I'm going to do is show you what I started about 5 days ago. Over here, what I did is I put the mixture into what's called a kilner jar. So each day I gave the sourdough starter a bit of a stir, and now because it's starting to bubble, I know that it's ready to start feeding the sourdough starter. And what that involves is me throwing away half of it, which seems a bit strange, adding another 100 grams of flour and adding another 100 millilitres of water. And that process needs to be repeated for about another 5 days to build up the strength of the starter, because the yeast has already started to work. The yeast that it's got from the air has already started to work, and it takes a few more days to build up the strength of that starter. It's now a day later. We had 5 days where we left the starter, and yesterday I poured half of it away, added another 100 grams of flour and another 100 millilitres of water, and I'm going to do the same again now. And there's another 100 added, 100 millilitres of water. Stir, and the same again tomorrow for another 3 days. Welcome to day 10. The starter is now really going nicely. It's fermenting really well, and again I need to throw half it away and add another 100 grams of flour and another 100 mils of water, except I'm not going to do that today. I'm actually going to use half of it to make some pizzas. So I'm going to save half on day 10 and then add again to my starter. And there we are. We're going to get that nicely mixed in again. And once that's properly mixed in, we're going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to keep it in the fridge, and I'm going to use the sourdough starter every week, every Saturday, because it takes quite a long time to make sourdough bread. And here's my sourdough starter, all ready to go in the fridge. It's very much a living being at the moment, and the task for you Outdoor Education Club people this week is to explain to me how fermentation works. So each week you either throw half of it away and add the 100 grams of flour and 100 mils of water, or you use half of it and add the flour and water. We can keep it in the fridge, and we can make sourdough once a week. I'll see you next Saturday for some sourdough making. And now we're going to make some sourdough pizza. And there we have sourdough pizza.